Hi, in this video we're going to talk more in depth on deal stages, and as some people call it, the deal pipeline. So on the screen here I've got an example of a record in Zoho CRM, and along the top of the record, we're in a deal record here, so along the top of the record we've got this ribbon which contains the different stages of our deal, or basically our sales process with the customer. So you can see here we've got qualification, needs analysis, value proposition, all kinds of things, and I can, as the deal moves along, I can update it here, or there's other ways I can update it as well. But this is what we're doing, and we're trying to get to basically a won state that we won the business, or a closed state we closed and lost the business. So this is what we want to talk about, customizing this specifically for your business. So I've got a document open here, and this is an application that I use that I would highly recommend, draw.io. I do have a course for this if you want to take a look at that. Plug. But it's a really good application. It's free to use, and we're going to be using this to look at different deal stages. So I just wanted to make a distinction here as well between leads and deals. It's something that comes up so often, and I just want to try and help people understand that better. The lead records in Zoho CRM are for qualification purposes. So the idea would be if you've got web forms, if you've got social media plugged into your CRM, if you've got if you're meeting people face to face, all of those interactions where you're meeting people and there's a possibility that there might be some work or there might be a sale out of that, they should go in as a lead. You don't have to use leads, but it's good practice. They go in as a lead, and then you decide, you basically qualify them, whatever your qualification conditions are, and you decide, are they somebody that you want to do business with, or do they have the budget to work with you, whatever it is. If you decide that they are, and you want to take it further, and you want to start getting into the sales process, then you convert that lead to a deal, and we drop into the deal record here. So this is just a really common deal process. Pipeline process. So we've got the needs analysis. Remember that bar along the top of the screen. We probably wouldn't have qualification because it's happened in leads. You've got needs analysis, understanding what the needs of the customer are. Then you've got your proposal, where you've written your proposal, you've submitted it to the customer, and you're waiting to hear back from them. Then you've got your negotiation phase, where you've got the customer to look at your proposal. Then you're talking about the price, taking things off the proposal, adding things on, all that kind of thing. And then you reach the point of, are they going to take it through to a sale, or are they going to save it for another time? Let's hope. So that's our closed won or closed lost. So that's a really simple deal process, and most businesses could use that as a starting point. But you need to really think about what your business does and what the phases are that you go through with the customer. The more tailored you can make this to your business, the easier it will be to use the CRM. So let's look at the other page I have here. This one I thought, what's a common business that we might all be familiar with, or might all have had some kind of interaction with, just to give you an idea of how this can be tailored to different industries. So here we've got essentially an insurance broker. They've got a qualification action which happens, or a qualification process which happens when the leads come in. And then they've got the deal record. So in the deal record, this is where our pipeline is. We've got the fact find. So normally when you apply for insurance, the insurance broker has to assess the risk involved. They have to know what's being insured, all that kind of information. Gather that information, and then they have to submit inquiries to underwriters and insurance companies. So they've got a stage here for fact find, then they've got a stage here for request the quote from the insurance brokers, from the insurance underwriters. Then they've got a phase for sending the quote out to the customer. You could have a phase in between these, which is, generate documentation, something like that. Send the quote to the customer, and then another stage for awaiting the customer's response. So at least that way, we can always look at the records which we're waiting for the customer response from. That's another nice thing about having a good, well-organized deal pipeline, that you can see where all your deals are at. You can decide where's the best place to focus your energy. And if we go back to the CRM and look at our list view, I think we only have one deal record in this CRM. Let's just change this to all deals. No, we have a few. We can change the view here to the Kanban view. So the Kanban view here in this example is set up by stage, by deal stage. So the deal stage, it's all different names for the same thing. The deal stage, the deal pipeline, you can call it whatever you like, but they're essentially the stages or the phases that your deals go through. So now instead of showing that on a specific record, we're now looking at it along the top of the screen here. So every deal that we have going on is being categorized into one of these different phases of a deal. This is really useful because not only does it total up at the top of the record what the total value of all of those deals are, which can really help me if I'm thinking about where I need to work on my deal pipeline and start moving things along. If I've got a lot of value sitting in a particular phase of my pipeline, then I probably want to go and concentrate on that. From this view, we can move them to different stages as well, and you'll notice that the value recalculates, which is really nice. So this is just another way of looking at your deal pipeline, and another reason that you would want to have a deal pipeline that is customized to your needs. So just a quick recap on how we customize this. Let's just go back into a record for a second. So we have the deal stages along the top of the screen here, which is great. There's also a field, I tend to put it down the bottom of the record, and we can see here actually it's in this particular example, it's in the top. So here we can see exactly the same information. It's a drop down list with all of our deal stages on. So if I change this here and click save, it also changes up here as well. So how do I customize this? You have to go to the settings, and depending on what version of Zoho you're using, it could be down in the bottom left corner, or the settings cog could be up in the top right corner. Once you're there, you need to find the modules and fields under customization, and then you need to find the deals module. Now, coming at it from the approach we've just taken, if we just hover over this and click the three dots, the option we want is stage probability mapping. People tend to get confused here as well. This is kind of quite an old feature in CRM, and they've added onto it to improve it over time. Typically, this is where you go to add stages into your deal pipeline. So we're going to look at this first. And here is our list of deal stages. So it's literally just a case of clicking in the box and changing the name, or removing it by hovering over and clicking the red minus or the green plus to add another stage in. The system likes you to give it a probability. So the idea is, I mean, it's called probability. You could call it progress, something like that, to give you an idea of how far through the process, what's the chance of winning this deal if you've got to negotiation stage. In this example, it's 90%. So we think if we've got to negotiation, there's a high probability that we're going to win this. Or if you want to look at it another way, we're 90% through the process. So whatever you put in these boxes is completely up to you. You can have two that are the same. It's really up to you. Then we've got the deal category. So this is just how the system knows, is it just a step in your process, or a phase in your process, or is it like a final phase? Are we telling the system that it's closed and won, or are we telling that it's closed and lost? So you'll notice that when we go down to the bottom here, we've got closed won, closed lost. So probability if it's lost is obviously 0, and here we're telling it that means won, that means lost. In this example, and generally out of the box with Zoho, you have closed and lost to competition. To be honest with you, you can just remove this, because when you say that a deal has been closed and lost, you get a pop-up and it asks you what the reason for the loss was. You do need to customize. It's a drop-down list, so you need to customize the different categories, but there's not really a point. There's not really any point having this in here, because I'm just going to remove it now. Because when you click close lost, it will ask you, why did you lose it? And in that case, you can say that it was lost to competition. There's an option here to color code this as well, if you like to do that. If you remove something from this list, it actually isn't gone forever. So if you, well, it could be gone forever, but I removed a couple of things. So if I click on this cog in the top right corner, it just shows us here, view or add unused values. So if I click on that, I actually get a list of all of the ones that I've removed. And the reason for that is, if you think about it logically, you are starting off today with Zoho CRM, and right now you might decide these are your deal phases, or your deal stages, or your pipeline stages, whatever you want to call them. You will, as you're working through your opportunities, your deals, you're going to be putting them into different stages, and then in the future you might decide that that stage doesn't exist anymore, like I have here with closed and lost to competition, but you will probably still need to report on that. So in that case, it's good to keep it in the system, because you can still pull reports on it in the future. So once you are done, once you've customized this, you can just click save, and that's it. You're all up and running, and your deal pipeline is exactly what you want it to be. I'll see you in the next one.